welcome back. We are now live and ready to get this second part of this UI ready and live and kicking. I have my coffee all set and I think it's time to get this started. So picking up of where we were last, the last session, we had built the home page. Okay, it was a pretty standard home page. There was like 6 boxes, I think, 5 boxes. Footer, call to action, and the header navbar. Okay. We also managed to do a blog listing right at the end, which had 16 blog posts. Yeah, 16 blog posts. No, it had 30 blog posts. 30 blog posts. We also had the search area and the categories area all done up. We also linked all the pages together. So the next part of this this page is to do the blog post page. Okay, so we have the blog listings where all the blogs are listed, and we need to do the blog post. Let me silence this. So I'm going to switch to. Let me switch to the desktop. All right, here we are, and we're in. So let's get this started. We need to. I need to dig out some ideas. Moving in here. I think one of the ideas that I had in mind was this. It was this one. Can't remember which one it was. I didn't save the link. No, not this one. Yeah. I think it was like this. Or maybe something else. Probably Microsoft changed it by the time I. Alright, so. Okay, so I like the idea of having using the full width of the page. Okay, I'm not going to go full width. I'm going to have it within a container. So it's literally going to be using like a certain part of the page. Might make it slightly more narrow as well. It's just so it looks nice. And when there's not that much information, it still looks full. And when then there's a lot of information, it's not an overwhelming $100 million scroll, 100 million scrolls to get to the bottom. Okay. I like having a banner at the top. I think that's vital. Having a banner image kind of really kicks the thing off. I'm not a big fan of this part here. I think it's sloppy UI. You don't need an image this big and have literally cutting off the text. That is sloppy UI. The heading should be somewhere near the top slightly. I would just do. If we're just gonna mess around here. Slightly jumping off topic here, but for this, I think maybe have the images better. No, I have to change all the images. Maybe even 5. Yeah, like that. Yeah, and that already looks a lot better than what they had. We could do 550. Maybe they don't want to have 600. You don't need the other. No, I've already much improved it. There you go, Microsoft. That's for free. just change 800 to 600 and you have a much better UI. Alright, let's just jump to something else. So I'm not sure about having these here. I think it's a nice idea. The way I was thinking of doing it is having a sort of author section at the bottom of the page, but I might consider having an image at the top. We'll look and see how it goes. Alright, so let's get this bit. Let's minimize this. So here we are in the blog post. I think for this one we're going to need to jump and make this a lot bigger. Return 5. Because once you start adding text and adding God knows what, it makes it bigger. Alright, first things first, let's create one of these. Okay. So let's have so we put a rectangle, we need a placeholder for the image. So set this to about 500 and 1920 is the width. Okay. Alright, let's go find some image. Actually, no, we'll just screw it. Finding image is a bit, it's going to be a bit. Let's just throw in a color there and then get over and done with it. I'll find the image later on. You know what, we could just use the old images. So hold on a minute, I need to just gonna find the, I can't remember where I put it before. Yep, there. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Yep. Oh, thanks. I need multiple monitors for this. I think having the chat stream here or having it available on the side will be a lot better. All right. So we have the images here. Let's go back here, and I think I'm liking this image here, so I'll just throw this here. It's a really big image. It might be worth finding a slightly better image for that. All right, anyway, so let's put the grids back on. So if we go to the grid layout, just make sure the columns on, and then yeah, I'll just make this a bit lighter. All right, I want it there, but I don't want to see it. All right, so now we need as I said before, we're going to trim it in a bit. We don't want it to have the full width like everything else. So I'm thinking more of like jumping in by 2 from here. So I think we're going to have the whole thing that width, that wide. With the new Adobe XD, you can actually now bring in rulers, which is a godsend from before. Still tricky to work with. Okay. 1 minute. I think I know what's wrong with this screen. better. Let me just check this. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Whoa, that's weird for me. I have a widescreen monitor, so it's kind of, it's good for that, but not good for recording. You need a more of a 16:9 kind of display. All right, so we have this. We need some text. So let's try have something like this, just above here. Okay, you know what? I can make this bigger. How about we make this like 600, and then have this here. Yeah, and it's not going to be full. It's probably just going to be like a 2 layout here. Change the color to slightly grayish. Okay, and then have another text box here. Budget up a bit. Okay, I can bring it down a bit like that. Let's take this Microsoft text here. I'm going to start taking some of the text from here. This is just for display purposes. I'm not actually stealing it. It's just a it's a quicker way to kind of let me see some. No, Adobe doesn't export it. Well, it actually does export HTML and CSS, but what we're going to do after this is we're going to break down the actual project that we've worked in and then recreate everything as a HTML and a CSS using proper schematics. CSS we're not going to touch that much. We'll experiment with some Sass. It's like a preprocessor for CSS, which will allow us to write more programmable text CSS, you know, with nesting and loops and if statements and stuff like that. It just makes writing CSS 1,000,000 times better and not repetitive. So that's what we're going to do on the next one, as soon as we've done with the UI. If you have any inputs on the UI, let me know and we'll get this implemented. I might end up loading that one in. Let me see if I can load it up on the mobile. Nope. Let's just stick. Okay, I'm thinking this might be actually a bad idea of having it here. So let's just stick to the standard. Because initially I tried it out with less text and it looked okay. Now with all that extra, what size is this? 28. You just make that 30. Okay, and we'll just do some padding here. Initially I was thinking of having a kind of a little box here and some design and the text on the image, but seeing that some blog posts might have more text than others, you don't want to restrict that, and if you go over it, it might not look that great. So so let's try it this way. I think, do you think the text could be a bit bigger? Let's go and have a look here. Yeah, I think the text could be a bit bigger, maybe about 33. I hate these numbers. So now we've done this. We'll need a categories tag. I think the categories tab can actually come on the actual image. That is the only one that might work, because you're not going to have 10 lines category. It's probably going to be just one major category. Let's call this one Microsoft. I'm in no way advertising Microsoft. I'm just using, actually, let's have a look and see what the category is. AI. I might just have better. Probably one else. Yep. Okay. We can make this smaller because it's too big. And I don't think we need. Let's just center these two, and so this is, remember the grid stuff we use. This will allow us to center it, and I think I can offset this by like 2. And what I'll do is the trick I told you before. So move the right twice as well, and then lock this in, and then move this back. Center it. Yeah. So what will happen? This will automatically stretch depending on what the length of the category we have. That way we're kind of flexible. Maybe we end up with a category that's bigger than I thought. Turn this color off. I think we need some color to this. Make this white. Okay. Now what do we need? What have they got? Yeah, text. So we get content. Now it's the content. With the content, I think I'm just going to copy this and see how much content there is actually. Yep. And as before, load up the content and just drag the text tool and just drag it and put it. Let's set this to 16 pixels, and we don't want it bold, we want it regular. Paste. Oh, it's white. Okay. Okay. One thing that's missing in Adobe XD is on the alignment tools for text, you don't have justify, and there's no hack for that, unfortunately. So I can't really just trick the system to think that we've done something else. But anyway, so let's leave the same gap as we have on top. I think 40 should be better. Yep. Okay. Again, the gap will stay the same. If the text is less, then we'll have this will creep up. If there's more, then it will stay the same. As for images, we want them full width. So the full width of this part. So literally, images will be like about that. Okay. And again, we want about 40 between them. And let's just load up an image. Ooh, this is nice. Okay. Load up. Do we want a border? I don't think we will need a border. I think having borders on images is a bit. It works for some site. I can turn it off here as well. Okay. What else? We need other headings. So this will be the H2 or subheading. So based on some HTML schematics, the main head, each site should have one H1 tag, which is the main header. So currently on our page, the H1 tag is this text, which is the title of the blog post. And then we can have H2 and H3 and H4. We can have as many as we want, but we only need we're only allowed one in order to have it properly compliant with HTML schematics. Okay, so this is our H1 tag, and it's set to about 35. I don't think we need text for H2, should be that. So let's have this one as 28, and we also want it bold as well. What's bold? Bold. And align it to the right, to the left, and have 40 as well. Okay. Maybe it might be more space between them would work. Let's just grab some of this text here. Yeah. And what you can do is just click here and then Alt click down and press Shift to lock, and then Shift down and have that here, and then just select the whole thing, delete and paste. Okay. Double click to expand this. Okay. Do we need another? Let's have another image at the bottom. Actually, let's call this enough. We get the point. We don't need to keep going through the whole to the end of the page. It's just for display. So having the different text sizes. Let's have a look at it on all. So this is how the page is going to look like. You have the text here, categories at the top. I think the category can be a lot smaller. I think it's too big. The header's okay. We could have more gap between the line of text here and the image. I think 40 is a bit sticking it together. And again at the bottom here to match the top. This is okay. And the text is fine. Okay, let's just make this a lot smaller. Let's go with 24. And see. Yep, even smaller. The category is important, but you don't want it to overwhelm. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. 20. Yeah, you don't want it to overwhelm the. Again, drag this to the right. And do we need to make that narrower? Yeah, we could do that. Let's go to the bottom and try 1, 2. Actually, you know what? How high is this? Just make it 40 and 50, and then just select these two, align them together. Alright, and yep. Do we need curved edges? I'm not a big fan of curved edges, but let's see how it goes. One thing yeah, we said we wanted to space this out, so let's do a 60 gap between them and see how it looks. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Images, it's not being compressed. It looks like it can breathe, which is always useful. So a lot of things, sometimes white spacing or having spacing between them, they're not going to change much, but allowing the site to breathe by having gaps in between certain elements, it makes it easier to kind of digest the site. I mean, there's a lot of content that's going to be displayed here, and just having things spaced out allows the head one to be read correctly, having the image to be seen without everything being squashed together. So always use your spaces, enjoy them. Something feels compressed, give it more space. Sometimes giving extra space to something you don't need, it means that you don't need to reduce the image size or the text size. Just give it a bit more padding or a bit of margin between the elements, which goes a long way. Okay, so now I want to work on, so we have the text. I think maybe we can, there's a few elements that I always use. One of them is a quote. So similar to what we have here, let me just copy this. Actually, just copy this whole element. So imagine somewhere between the text, we have a quotation from a certain person, or the author of the page, or what have you. So let's center this and look for a quote. Here we are. There we are. And throw that in here. And switch that to this. I think with the quote, center this here. Just ungroup that. I think the text can be smaller. We don't need it that big. So about 28, I think. And not bold. Regular text. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just text, but it's just displayed something differently. It's like it's a block quote. All right, center that. So everything is centered around that. Okay. What we need, so block quotes need to be wrapped in some kind of quotation marks. It just makes it kind of better to see. So what we can do is throw in some quotes. I think for these we could probably change the font. Is it Arial? Why does it look like this? Wait, these are ugly. Let's take, I'll just leave them. I'll just leave them. was hoping more of these, the ones with lines on them. These just look really nasty. Anyway, I'll come back to these slightly later. Alright, so you get the idea. Do they look nice? No, I think the other ones will look a lot better. Let me just... I was hoping some of these we can probably use an image for. Let me see if I can copy these. No, they got it like that as well. No. Alright, forget it. I'll just skip it. We'll walk past. So you get the idea. I'll find a font for it that's suitable and we'll match it up. Right now we're going to be wasting a lot of time playing around with this stuff. But it would just look better with these quotes. Alright, next thing's next. This needs a bit more space here. So what we need is a bit more text to go underneath. And I think we can break the text up slightly. So sometimes you have an image that's inline and not a standalone image. So what we're going to do is just showcase some of that image like this. You see it? It's kind of taken up some of the room of the page. These have become narrower. It's here. Okay, so let's throw in the image. I want it square, so okay. Image, light bulb. Okay, and let's do this. Have this here, and then have. Let me duplicate this away from the screen, and then let's go up here. So it's somewhere about here just before they start commenting other stuff. Close this off. My mouse feels just weird. Might be the wrong one. All right. So I only need this part up to here. So now we can trim this down. Okay. And we could probably trim this. Yeah. So what will happen is the image size will be automatically scaled up with some of the text we have. So again, this is mostly just for display purposes. Okay, I think this needs a bit more space here. Yep. Since this is actually part of this block, I don't think we should have. I think it should just be about 30. just to show that these are all together. Take the border off, and let's see how this looks. It might need a bit more spacing. No, I think it looks fine. Yeah, more spacing, probably about 1 and another 10 by each. Alright, yep, this has got a bit more spacing. I think it's more breathable. All good. Alright, next part of this final page is to have an author section. Okay, now with this one I was hoping to do some different styling. So what do we need? We need a text box first, or a box. Okay. We can keep the border. We need another box in here to showcase the author's image. It should be the same size. And yeah. Let's load up. Let me take this guy's image. I don't know who this guy is. No idea who this is. Oh, Microsoft's Corporate Vice President for AI. Okay. Sorry, mate. Just using your image. You know what? I'm just gonna use my own ugly mug. Give me 1 minute while I just extract this. So I'm going to switch to here and go grab that image. Yep, go back. So just throw that in here. Okay, not a great image. It's probably 20 years ago. Alright, so we need some text here now. So let's call, okay, wow, it's 100. This needs to be bold and open sans bold, and it should be about 30. Should be good. Okay, again. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, we need some about, which I have no idea what to write. So I'm just going to copy this and insert some text into here to the left and make this regular. And this needs to be about 16. Okay. Because it's just an about, it's just a brief. You're not required to give someone's autobiography. It's just enough information to say, you know what, this guy looks good. Okay, I think this can actually now be smaller. I can trim it from here as well. Can it be trimmed? I'll do that in a minute. Yeah, I think we can do something like there. Actually, you know, if we come and make this whole thing, I think having it the full width of this is a bit, maybe it goes 6 here and into here a bit. Have this slightly. Let me just leave this out of the way. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Some space here. All right. You don't want it too big. We need some Twitter icons, stuff like that. So I'll have to get some here. Well, let me just put some squares in here, like I did to this. Where is it? So just a minute. So like we did here, just load these up here. So fiddly. Okay. How does that look? I don't think it looks that nice, to be honest. I think we can stretch this out a bit. Let me try something else. Do something like that. How about the let's try that here. So one. I hate when this fiddly stuff starts happening. Yep. I think this can be stretched out now to here. Probably inwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This can be. This whole section can be go in, and this can be go here, and then we can just center this. Let's have a look at this. It looks alright. Do we need more spacing? Let's just keep it at that and move forward. We'll play around with it another time. I think maybe we could just do one thing. Push this as this here. So let's try this. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, I think that looks slightly better. Maybe the image could, well, the image looks shit, but let me just find someone else who looks a lot nicer than I do. Okay, this guy should do. I think out of all the images, that's the only one that probably looks like a LinkedIn image. Oops, didn't turn that off. Yep, I think we can make this slightly bigger and crop it properly. How does it look now? Great. Much better than I did. Can I actually stretch this image a bit? Yep. That will look a bit better. Scale this down slightly. And there. And then we can just move these over. Yep. This could be smaller. What did we do? This was 20. Just make this 20 as well. No. 25. I think 20 is like so tiny. Now, let's see. Yep, I think much better. Much better. Maybe we could just keep this here and just move this whole thing out once. Alright, last check. Yep, I think that looks good. Alright, save that. Alright, next thing we need to do is, I think we should just duplicate this here. Actually, yeah, let's duplicate this here. We need a call to action. And then we need to have something like this. So you see this? We need to have it here. So let me just make this correct. So I want to hit a 60 gap and precision, and then we need to bring this here, and again this should be. So quick tip, if you're zoomed in like this, or if you are like this, you can't get the snapping working, because what it does is it looks at this whole part of the scene and then it tries to snap to something alignment to it. But if what you do, if you just zoom out back, if you bring the whole thing out, and you can see that from here to here is 60, from here to here is 60, so when you bring this in, it will snap to 60. Well, it should snap to 60. Yep. This is a way of just making sure that you have all the correct sizes between them. Alright, what else do we need for this? I think just this. Okay, we'll leave that text. So during your quick prototyping, don't bother with any shadows or anything like that. So no shadows, no colors. It just makes kind of building this whole thing, no curved edges. It just makes building it faster. When you go over it again, then you'll come up with how much shadows you should have. You create a preset for that, the colors you're going to use and stuff like that. So we'll go over that at a later stage. Okay, so now we're done with this page, which needs to be trimmed. So let me just trim it. Okay, and let's have a look at this page in action. So we said we're going to click here. Okay, so let's go home. So this is our main page, home page, and we'll click on a blog post, and this is the actual blog post page. And as we go through it, you can see the images there. You can have as much as images you want. We have these inline images, and we have the author part, which is not me, which is great. You have a call to action, and then you have related articles, and then you have the end blog post. I'm thinking we might end up changing this around and have the call to action below. Either way, doesn't make a difference for us now. What's next? I think the next part of this is to build the actual other pages, which, just kind of to summarize, the other pages will be similar. So I think what we can do is grab these elements and I'll click them here. Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to be different is we get rid of this H1. Actually, bring it back. How big is this? Is 35, and make this 35. Yep. Make this 70. Okay, let's call this about us. Yep, should have done that first. So 1, 2, snap it here, and then bring that back. Alright, and maybe we don't need this now, let me just have this there. Okay, and then we just end with this stuff here. see, we don't need to go too much in details, because with our CMS, the way it's going to work is with actual HTML and CMS building, you're going to have each section in a kind of file. So you'll have the navigation part in a separate file. You'll have the which includes the header and the about us, and then you have the content of the page, and then you have the footer. So you have the header, the footer, and then you have the the main content in the middle of the page. And the only thing that's going to change from page to page is the content in the middle, unless there's a feature that is required. For instance, you have a courses page that has list of courses, or a specific Teams page that shows image of the person and his kind of his title and name and stuff like that. Then you're going to have to build it. But if it's a static page that is similar for the next other 10 pages, you don't need to build the other 10 pages. You just need to build the one page, and then everything else will match it up. So try with UI and UX. It's not about building every single page of the whole system. You can do that, and it will make life so much easier for the developer, but it's a waste of bloody time. Honestly, you'll kill so much time creating it. You'll probably kill. It's not agile at all. It's just a way of wasting time. But if you mock up the style of how you want it, and then with the wireframes of the certain pages and components, then you can create them. And then when you actually start building the pages, it's like building blocks. You literally, we're going to create building blocks for our website. Certain elements where you just put them in, and you just end up loading them up. So you load different components up. So if you want to load the image up, you just load a image component. Text, you load the text component, and then you're done. Okay, so try and use the dry approach. So don't repeat yourself, and create pages that are unique only when you need to. I hope that kind of makes sense. All right. So now we have all the 4 pages of the of this site. The main pages. So we have the home page, which requires some work, and I'm not really happy with that one. But we can just keep it now and then add stuff what we need to at a later stage. We have the blog listings, we have the blog post, and we have the actual content page, the actual page, site pages. All right, what's next? So on Thursday, which is the next live session we have, we're gonna go over all of these images, refine them, add the logos, and basically just make them look properly, look like a site. Right now we've been using grey, and there's no colors, there's no effect. And the good thing about doing this early is then we can say, okay, we have these preset colors, and we can just build it into the pipeline, into the SAS as variables, and then load them up. It will also give us a chance to see how it looks in terms of colors, and in terms of with the brand aesthetics, and we can kind of come to a judgment before we code. Much of the stuff we're doing here now is to try and do stuff before coding. It's part of the pipeline. Sometimes you need things signed off. Like for instance, this will need to be signed off by a client. Okay, so what we'll normally do is you build this out, and then you'll send it to a client. The client will have a look, and the great thing about Adobe XD is you can actually share it with the client, and the client can comment. I'm not sure how though. I'll have to figure out. You can probably. No, that's a co-editing. I'm not sure. Someone could probably comment. Yeah, maybe share. Yeah. So design review. Anyone with a link, then you create a link. Okay, here's the link, and it literally loads up in the browser, and then Adobe does the rest. Except this, close this. So now you have this, and then you just select whatever you want to see. So now you can just say, you can click here. It loads up as a site, but you can also make comments here. And now it's like an interactive process. So when you need to get this approved by a client, you just send that over, send the link, they'll log in, have a look at it and say, you know what, I'm not really liking this, I like this, I don't like this, the colors are bad, change this, do that. It just makes collaborating with your clients a lot easier and better. So Figma has this as well. So if you're not an Adobe kind of fan, or you don't like using the Adobe products, even though Adobe XD is free, and I think it's free for the foreseeable future, I'm not sure what they're planning to do with it. I'm not really an insider of these programs, but it's currently free. It's currently, most of the tools are available for you for free. You could just sign up to Adobe and have that all up and running with you. If you want to use Figma, then everything I've done here can be done in Figma. If it's something that you want to see done in Figma, then we can see how much people want to see it, and then I can do a tutorial on it, or a video on recreating some of these elements in Figma. Okay, so next on Thursday we're going to refine this whole site and make it look more up to spec with branding. We're going to have the logos in there and the brand colors and stuff like that, and that will kind of fine tune this whole process for us, including shadows and stuff like that, and then we can actually move on for the week after to start coding. Alright, so tune in next week, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and you can follow me up on Twitter. I'm active there, and you can follow me up on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube as well. So I'm on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So take care, and I'll see you guys. Let me switch here. Okay, so take care, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye.